This is my first very presentation in my life. I will not stand up, but I will sit down. And I always say to my students, do not start the presentation by saying the definitions. The next thing I say to my students, I tell them, please don't sit. It will make your presentation spoil. And another thing, I tell them, please do not read. And today I will break all the rules. I will sit, I will read now and then, and I will first start with the definition. But maybe before that I should say something about myself. So, hello, my name is ALEŠ NEUSAR. I come from Olomouc, where I live. I'm assistant professor at the Department of Psychology there. And I'm also a psychologist. I'm a writer of few books and many articles who nobody reads and nobody cites. Oh, there are some people, but not as many. So I can say I'm a real loser, so I have something to say about loserness and losing. And at the moment I am also trying to publish my first non-fiction. And they say, it's okay, but you know, you are not so famous, and a book about losers. There's no market for a book about losers, because who would buy a book about a loser to a friend? So give it to a friend. And I tell them, you know, whole Europe is full of people like that. And I know many people in Utrecht, for example, who love my book. So let's start with a definition. So what I mean by losing? By losing I mean being in a situation in which we cannot have something or somebody we really want or even need. And it also means facing the problems which I simply can't solve. What did I lose? But I really didn't want to lose. And maybe you can think yourself, what did you lose, but really didn't want to lose? So, in my case, if you meet my brother, so he has afro like this, hair everywhere. Not me, I'm losing my hair and I love them, but it just happens. So but that's not so serious. It can be worse. I know. So what I lost? I also lost Hans. And Hans was my Utrecht almost father. And he died last year. And because of him, I wrote a book about the losers, because I wanted him to read it before he's dead. So he read it and he commented on it, and then he was dead. And what he taught me, always to see the other side of everything, of extroversion, introversion, of being a loser or a winner. So there's always the other side. If you are a winner, you can't see some reality, because from the winner point of view, you only see the winning, and you cannot see some other things. So if you are a failure in life and loser, there's always something interesting, something valuable, some nice alternative you can see only by being a loser. And there's no chance to see it as a winner, even though Americans, of course, don't trust me. No, there is one American who trusts me, but that's not enough. So what I lost my mother. Well, she's still alive, but when I was 13, I found her immobile at home, and I just didn't understand. So why she can't move? That's strange. So I was laughing, and I didn't understand, and I went to my bedroom, and so my father had to come home, but it took some time. So she survived. She's still alive, but she's severely handicapped. And I lost her from my life, so for many years I didn't feel anything to her at all. I helped her, I was nice to her, but I didn't feel any feelings. So she completely disappeared from my life. And later on it cost me a lot of therapy to find out my relationship with her back. And I found it, and I really love her, and we have a very nice relationship. But for many years, she was just away. Of course, this losing is nothing I really wanted. No way, never, why? And I really don't want to show off, I really know that many of you are bigger losers than I am. But maybe some of you not. You don't have to tell me. That's okay. And also be aware that this lecture is not about competition. Who lost more? Yeah? So I don't give a shit about if you lost more than me. My loserness and my losing is of course the worst one. No, it's not, but so it's not a competition. So this was losing. So what I mean by loserness? I mean lack of confidence, lack of talent, lack of qualities, or being average or even below average in your own league. This own league is important because of course there are many leagues and you can compare every time with somebody who is higher or lower. So in your league, with your friends, with people you know, with people you like. So being average or below average in whatever is important to you. So how about me? Very average IQ. No, my processing is very slow. I have PhD from psychology, but psychology is an easy subject, so even with that you can study psychology. Lack of physical strength, so if you see my brother, so he's twice stronger than I am. And I really would love to be stronger, but now and then I have a severe depressive period. I'm really not happy about that, but yeah, that happens. Now and then I have severe migraines. Nothing can help. Only the drugs which are so strong that I don't think. Sometimes I cannot work. It's usually connected with the depression, which will hopefully never come again, but... Or I play many musical instruments, but I'm very crap in all of them. And in my family, most people have absolute pitch. And what's worse, I have very good pitch, but not very good singing. So I can hear that it's not proper. So that's the worst thing, to be very, very sensitive while you cannot do it properly. And of course the list could continue forever, but this lecture is not about my failures, or not only about them, but mostly about the creative state of loserness. Maybe you know the story about David and Goliath, or the Goliath in English probably. And the sad truth is that most of us aren't in David's position. We will never kill the Goliath, and we will just fail. He will kill us. We will be the real losers of the fight. I cannot sling the stone so fast to kill the Goliath, or I cannot run for days to exhaust him. And maybe we are talented, but maybe we just don't know about our talents. We don't know about our gifts. But the cruel thing is that life doesn't wait for us. It will just kill us and will not ask us, oh, you forgot that you can run quickly. The oldest senator in the United States, or one of the oldest, is the senator of California, Dianne Feinstein. And she once wrote in a book that winning may not be everything, but losing has little to recommend it. That is very prototypical American approach to life. Win-win. That's the best solution ever. And if not win-win, then win. So that's the best. And I can hardly disagree more. Because the real world, like this lecture room, is full of real losers like you, or some of you, and me. So, and that's what this lecture will be about. If you want to talk about loserness and losing, you come up to the dilemma. How much of a loser do I have to be allowed to speak about loserness? You know, I have 3 children, I have a salary, I'm not a perfect loser. I would say I'm an average loser, maybe even below average. And it used to be worse, but at the moment I must say that I'm doing quite well. That's horrible. So I should do something wrong in my life again, but at the moment I feel quite okay, apart from the illness. And maybe you know Stephen King, the author of the horror books and movies. And he once wrote in a really good book, I didn't read any books of him, just one. And the one book is called On Writing. And he asked, someone who has sold as many books of fiction as I have must have something worthwhile to say about writing it. Yeah, so he wrote many books, which I didn't read. But at the same time he says, Colonel Sanders, maybe you know the founder of KFC, sold a hell lot of fried chicken. And I don't know how about you, but I never go to KFC to buy a beautiful snack or a great lunch. So if you do a lot of something, it really doesn't mean it brings some value. Back to my question, if I'm a real loser during my whole life, is there anything meaningful in it? I hope yes. And hopefully, even if I'm not a transcendental asshole, that's a king's word, or I call it guru asshole, and guru asshole or transcendental asshole, so these are the people who write the self-help books and know all the answers to life. So in 10 steps, how to become satisfied, how to become successful in business and whatever. So you will not become satisfied or happy or successful, don't worry. And the other thing is that books and lectures are usually provided by the winners. So I think that the losers should join up and provide the lectures too. Okay, so let's move on the loser side. And just important note that this lecture is deliberately biased on seeing the advantages of losing and loserness. And of course I hate it, and I hate all the suffering. Yeah, so it's biased, yeah. I talk about the beautiful stuff and skip the bad one. But usually the growth is through suffering, unfortunately. Few loser stories. So the first loser story. I already said that my mother got stroke when I was 13. And that was really horrible because we had a very strong relationship. She used to call me a little chicken, which sounds very bad in English, but in Czech it sounds very beautiful, so that means that she loves you very much. So I lost her. So that was horrible, of course, but I had to continue my life somehow. So I did. And because my father wasn't at home very much, and my brother was in adolescent, very interesting age, so I had to learn how to cook, how to do all things. I had to make some money alone because I didn't get money. So since 13 I was making money, and of course not all the time, but just some money, you know, some extra money. And so I became very independent and very tough. And very critical, which is great when you are a teacher at university and you are critical and tough. You don't care when students tell you, oh, I really want to get this exam. And I said, you know, fuck all. So go away. No, I want to give it. So I really don't care. I can be empathetic and nice, but it's an option if I really want to. So I don't have to, because life was quite cruel to me, so I'm able to be too. Now and then. So, how about the depression? Of course, when I got the first depression, that was horrible, but I survived. I'm here. And when I got the second depression, I thought it will never come, because there were like 10 or 8 years in between. So I thought it will never come again, but it came. So I said, all right. And it was also very severe, but I survived. And then I said, it will never come again because I changed so much. So it cannot come again. And it did, of course. So at that time, I really said to myself, all right, I really need to change something. And maybe something deeper than the last time, because maybe next time I will kill myself. You never know. So when you have depression, you just see life like this. And it's just shit. And there's no light at the end of the tunnel, of course. And that's a funny thing, because I'm a therapist or psychologist, counselor, and I help a lot to depressive people, so I understand them, of course, very much. So I always tell them, please, if you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, don't worry, that's normal. The sun is there, you just don't see it. Don't try to persuade yourself that it is there. Just know that it's a fact, that life is great, but you don't see the fact now. So maybe you could go to the psychiatry clinic so that you don't kill yourself before you find out. So that's one of the possibilities, because you never know. So the depression. What's great about the depression is that you don't work very much. And you have a lot of time to think about what you really want to do. And especially what you really don't want to do. And that's the great thing, that at the moment I can say, after all these periods of shit, that I really do what I like. I love lecturing. I love giving the courses at the university. I love writing. I love writing poems. I love studying languages. So I learned last month Spanish, just for fun. And I have beautiful children, beautiful wife. I dance a lot, sing a lot. So it's much better. And I said to my boss at the department, I won't do this, but I will do this. And that was funny. And he said, all right. And I said, all right. So I do what I want to do. And don't worry, I of course do also these crappy formalities like timesheets and all these things I really hate, administration. But that's life. Life is never only about the good things. There's always something shit in it. And also this is one of the things, one of my imperfections. I tend to swear quite a lot. So I will try my best not to swear from now on. My wife always tells me, your lecture was great, but you said 3 times fuck. Oh my God. So I should say F word. Okay. I talk about loserness, but of course I'm aware that I'm also good in some things. I hope I'm a good father, maybe good poems writer, maybe even good non-fiction writer, but good doesn't mean selling or tennis player. Okay, I will skip the PERMA model, so that's the model of Martin Seligman, and it's about what's important in life. So I will just tell you that it's positive emotions, but sometimes we don't have them. Some good relationships, hopefully, that's quite important. Accomplishment, we also don't have all the time, but at least some accomplishment is of course needed. Engagement, to be engaged in what you do, at least now and then. And meaning, that's quite difficult when you are academic lecturer to see a meaning in life. But once you see the students after you and they don't know anything. But I try. So let's go to the end of the lecture. So what are the advantages of being a loser and seeing the life from a loser perspective? First, start with the winning. Why not to be a winner? It's really dangerous. Especially the middle class winning. Let's say that the middle class in this sense is very broad. So all the people who think are middle class, but actually aren't, of course. So what happens is that when you are middle class, and winning at least a little bit, so you have a house, you have some children, you have a job where they don't want to kick you out, like me every other year. So they tend to be happy, but also become lazy and rigid. These people become quite proud that they are somebody. Many of them also feel less empathy for those who are less gifted and for those who are big losers. And many people think that if you really try hard, you can do it, like Barack Obama. And he did fuck all and won the Nobel Prize, for example. No, fuck all is not. No, he became American president, so that's a big thing, of course. What's also very bad about this middle class winning version is that you take the standard job and you are like a sheep. So you have a standard car. So you have Kia Ceed or you have Skoda Octavia. You have a standard job. You have standard solutions. You go to standard or good schools because you don't want to ruin the life of your children. And thus you don't see a big portion of the real life. And there's no pressure to discriminate what's good or what's wrong, because you take the average great solution, or the solution you think is the best one. So what's really important for life? I love William Goodwin, it's 18th century author, I think. And he said that from the material point of view, what we need? Subsistence. That's difficult English word, so I will say. So that's just food, water, and maybe some shelters, the very basics. Then you need the means of intellectual and moral improvement. So in my case, I need to listen to BBC4 now and then, to read some books, internet, radio, but it's for free. Yeah, if you do go to cafe, so you don't have to pay. And then you need inexpensive gratifications. And if you don't live in Utrecht, as I do now and then, so you can have beer every day. It's so cheap. So you can go with friends, or you can buy Milka chocolate, which is also incredibly cheap. So these inexpensive gratifications, they are almost for free in Czech Republic. So that's a really great life. And you don't need to go to Croatia or to whatever country, because the most important thing is to be with your friends, to be with your family, relate with them nicely, and that you can do for free. So most of the important, not most, all of the important things are for free. So that's the great thing. And even if you don't have money, when we didn't have any money, so we ate by friends. We have so many friends, so we said, oh, we didn't have meals, so we have to go somewhere to eat. And because they love us, and we helped them many times before, so we were living almost a year for free. And I had 2 children at the time. So some friends told me, no, why don't you work? I said, oh, you know, I'm depressed, I really don't want to work. And, but your family needs that. And I said, no, really for free, that's all right. And we still can go to to garbage cans and take something from the garbage, or we can go to Mensa to eat the rest of the food. But we didn't need to, because we had so many good friends. So what loserness and losing can teach us? What's really the best thing, I think, in loserness, that it teaches you the difference between great solution, like the Skoda Octavia, is supposed to be great in Czech Republic, and the sufficient or even below sufficient or crap solution. So we used to have a Volvo V70 car, so you could do 220 kilometers in Germany on a highway, but it was such a crap car, and it cost us a fortune and totally destroyed our family budget. So we sold it, and we had no car for a few months. And we were so happy after having no car, because we started to go more by train. And when you have 2 children, and you are alone with 2 children with big trolley and big rucksack, there is always somebody nice who will help you, because they think you are crazy. And that's really nice to meet these people. And when my wife, she's very small, and when she's going now with 3 children and big rucksack and a trolley and bicycle, so they think that she's weird, but there's always somebody who helps her. And what we did, because we didn't want to buy the normal car, because we didn't have any money, of course. So we bought a big American huge car for 8 people and 4 bicycles, which you don't have to separate into parts, so you just put them there. And it takes a lot of fuel, of course. And nobody wants it, but it's on LPG, on gas, so it's very free. But it was so cheap. And it's not spoiled at all, because it's like truck. So like all the parts are so heavy that you cannot destroy them in 1 million kilometers maybe. And if you destroy something, it's 1/3 of the price of the European car. We have it for 1.5 years, and we don't spend any money on it. But no, everybody thinks, are you crazy? Such American car, stupid. And we say, no, we are happy. The only thing is that you cannot do 200 kilometers per hour, because it just does 80 or 90, and if you do more, so the consumption is not 20 liters, but 30 or 40. So you cannot, and also it doesn't drive very. So that's one of the good things. What you also learn is that nothing and nobody is for sure forever. So you don't take anything for granted, because you can lose everything. But the great thing is, when you have nothing, you cannot lose much. Because we are in Europe, we live on Europe, so I can still be on benefits and survive very well, because I know that I can. And I did many times survive for free for a few years, even with a family. Another thing is that only one person or one group can be the first one, you know, in a competition. So does it mean that I may be 20s or 40s best psychologist in Olomouc? Wow. So does it say something about that I don't add any value to people who come to me? No. It's just the order, the rank. It doesn't say that Olomouc University is, I don't know, 10 times worse than Yale. You can still meet somebody interesting at Palacký University, and I did. And it's not the best university, of course, but I met some people who were really great and who offered me a lot of time, and I could grow with them. So Palacký University wasn't that bad. One more thing is dangerous, that everybody is of course a loser in some sense. So please don't compare yourself to other people, because we are like bananas and apples, and you can't compare bananas and apples. Yeah, you can maybe be inspired by some other people, by what they do or how they are, but you just cannot be other people, so comparison is very dangerous. So, and what are the dangers of loserness? And that's the very last thing I say. Of course, it's like post-traumatic growth. Most of the losers will stay losers and will be very unhappy all their life, will be very depressive, will be jealous that the neighbor's lawn is more green or whatever. And also, the loserness cannot be excuse for your loserness. So I cannot say, you know, I'm a loser, I will not try. No, you still have to try. But the great thing about the loser point of view is that if you don't win, if you fail, you still are a good person. I like Jean Vanier, the founder of l'ALEŠ community, that he says that nobody is a crap, nobody is a waste of time, even the ugliest person on the world. So that's the important message. We have to accept our loserness, and that's the best start, maybe to grow a little bit, but maybe we will not grow anywhere and any time, and we will stay losers, but still we can be good people. If you would love to become rich and become a winner, that's also a nice way to find out something about yourself, but it's much more difficult way, because if you say yourself, no, I don't want to be a loser, I want to be a winner, it's quite difficult to be a millionaire just to say, yes, I want to be. But if you want to be a loser, that's very easy. You just quit a job and you are a loser. Yes, so that's a very easy way to learn about yourself, to learn about life, much easier than by becoming a winner. But of course, it's also a very dangerous thing. Winning and losing, it's not a choice between good and bad. It's a choice between two completely different ways of living. And of course, I want to be successful, and I want to publish my book, but I don't want to lose the sense of loserness. I don't want to lose this point of view that in every failure is something interesting and it's not just an excuse. Thank you very much. And we have 3 minutes for the questions.
It's not a question, it's a consultation. You are on the winning side of the losers, because in Europe now, I was in Greece last time, it's really, many people have to learn to be loser now, in this moment. And they could profit from your presentation, because really it is a very good solution for, and they are finding it. They are finding it by themselves now. Many young people and even older people are. It's a good side of the thing. The bad side, it's other questions, because there is always also a bad side. Thank you for this intervention.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sometimes it seems like we cannot be depressed, cannot be alone. And of course we can, and in Greece there are many good reasons to be alone. And of course I'm very alone very often. But the thing is, if you are alone 3 years, maybe we should try to do something, but I will never say to people that you are bad if you stay depressive. That's not the solution. You still have value, but of course it's nice to try. And it's really great. Our family, it was best time when we didn't have money for food, money for kindergarten, money for car, money for traveling, because we had to stay at home.
Those who survive in this time, they are exactly doing that.
Yeah.
The only way.
Yeah. Okay.
But others don't.
I know that I should stop. So please, it's your turn.